Patrick, hit us with some stats, won't you?
Next was released on April 27th, 2007, with a budget of $78.1 million. They spent almost $80 million making this.
Wow.
Which is like, there are so many points in this movie where I'm just like, they just spent a ton of money to spend a ton of money. Like, they did not have to have that fucking water treatment plant that they rented for the FBI offices. They didn't need to.
This movie looked worse than like any given episode of CSI.
Yeah. There's a lot of helicopters too, like
a lot.
And like scenes that are just like could have been shot just like next to the Grand Canyon and not in a fucking helicopter. Mm-hmm. Like, so many things that they just spent way too much. The mobile semi-truck office that they're like driving around in.
But they repurposed that for Die Hard.
That's true. Yeah. Looks exactly the same. Do you think it really was the same way?
I don't know. But I mean, it would have been around the same time because Live Free or Die Hard came out about that same time, right? 2007, 2008, maybe.
Wow, that movie sucked. But in hindsight, way better than the other two.
Way better than this movie.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, because I would hate to have a next sequel to talk about, this film only grossed $77.6 million. I also saw somewhere online where it said the budget was actually $45 million, but the official numbers say 78.1. So I don't know if that includes marketing or what, but
it might.
They spent more than they made, and they didn't make, like double what they put into it. So I don't know what they were expecting to make out of this stupid ass movie. Just the premise alone is like, you really thought you would make at least $150 million back on this thing?
I mean, done right, maybe.
How much did Minority Report make? And what was the other one?
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
The original, not the Jessica Biel.
Like, on paper, Recall. You look at the people involved in it, and you're like, yeah, this should be a slam dunk.
Yeah. Not so much. This was directed by Lee Tamahori, who is a New Zealand-born filmmaker who is responsible for films such as Mulholland Falls, which is not to be confused with the great Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. This is the Nick Nolte Mulholland Falls. One of my favorite movies of all time, weirdly, because the rest of his filmography is pretty awful, but The Edge with Anthony Hopkins, Alec Baldwin. I love that movie. That's such a great movie, and you would not know that the guy who made that movie made this movie. Wow. Also did Along Came a Spider, which is the James Patterson, Alex Cross film, and easily the single worst James Bond movie by leaps and bounds, Die Another Day. The fucking one was like surfing in the Arctic with Halle Berry. And
that movie is the reason why I was so hesitant to watch any of the Daniel Craig films when they came out.
I don't blame you, dude.
I was so turned off from Bond because of that movie. I was like,
that was the franchise killer for the Pierce Brosnan era. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. Holy shit, that movie sucked. And then he also did...
It's all look it up because Amazon got the creative rights to Bond going forward from the Broccoli family.
Yeah. Now you can watch them all on Prime, right? I would assume.
I think you can now because I've had the rights. MGM and Amazon have had them for a while.
Yeah.
But this is the creative rights. The Broccolis were holding creative rights for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And
since
now we'll get
like the late 60s, right?
I think so, yeah. And now we'll get Bond spinoffs and spinoffs within spinoffs and Transformers style stuff, and they'll try to make an MCU out of it.
It'll just be one movie where he just beats a horse as hard as he can for 2 hours straight. I dread that. I'm glad that I feel like my journey has ended with Bond. I finished all the way, like I started back at the beginning and watched all the way through all of them up to the most recent Daniel Craig. And I feel like that's a good place to just kind of leave it, unless they cast somebody that I'm actually excited about for for Bond, but I don't know. I feel like for the most part, every one of the Bonds has had their own unique, interesting thing about them. And I genuinely I love the Lazenby version of Bond. I wish they would have kept going with that a little bit longer, but Sean Connery came back. So the Timothy Dalton Bonds were great. I mean, the movies themselves were not amazing, but Timothy Dalton was great as Bond.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great Bond.
Yeah. And then Tamahori also made Triple X State of the Union, which is the one where they killed off Vin Diesel off camera and then replaced him with Ice Cube. And then they brought him back later on. I don't know. I checked out after the first one, so I don't know what happened there. I'm sure it's great. So the first writer was Gary Goldman, who is the original good writer of Total Recall. The Arnold Schwarzenegger one, which, I don't know. Maybe it's a nostalgia, but I feel like that movie's great. Maybe it doesn't hold up if you watch it nowadays.
Well, he's one of the writers of Big Trouble in Little China, which is my favorite movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, I've seen Total Recall too. It was all right.
Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China is, I think, the best thing on his filmography. He doesn't have a whole lot on there. It's like Total Recall, Minority Report, Navy SEALs, which is, and then,
dude, that's Charlie Sheen's best movie.
Yeah, wow, that movie's so bad, dude. And then Big Trouble in Little China. Those are all of his credits aside from Next, which was the last film he wrote before he retired. He was like, nah, I'm out. I'm done. Or maybe he was like, my Philip K. Dick trilogy is finally finished.
Right.
I don't know. Second writer was Jonathan Hensley, who is responsible for, I would say, the second best Die Hard movie, Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was part 3 with Sam Jackson. I love that one. It's kind of like such a switch of the whole franchise because he's actually in New York instead of being somewhere else, and it's summertime, and I don't know. I think that movie's really well done, and I love was it Jeremy Irons? Jeremy Ironside, Jeremy Irons, right?
Jeremy Irons
as the bad guy. He's so good in that movie. And then he also wrote Jumanji, The Saint with Val Kilmer, Armageddon, the Punisher, which he also directed, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And he was also an executive producer on Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds. So he's worked with Cage before in an executive capacity. It's kind of a weird career with writing Jumanji and then directing The Punisher and being an executive producer with Bruckheimer, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. And then the third writer, Paul Birnbaum, who has mostly worked in TV, besides the movie Hollywoodland. I don't know if you remember that one. And then he recently wrote his first project since Next. He hasn't worked at all since Next, called Maggie Moore's, with John Hamm and Tina Fey. I think it's an indie flick, but I don't know, man. And then shot by our old pal David Tattersall, who we've talked about. He shot Con Air, of course. Shot all 3 of the Star Wars prequels. Did The Green Mile, Tomb Raider 2, The Cradle of Filth, or whatever the hell that movie's called. Speed Racer, the Wachowski version. Was he just on acid the whole time he was filming that, or ADHD medicine or something? And then the new version of The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves. I don't know if anybody besides me saw that movie, but it was meh. It was middle of the road. So. I mean, decent list of movies. I don't know.
It's all middle of the road stuff, sounds like.
I would say that the filming is not the biggest issue in this. There's some pretty good shots. I would say it really comes down to this. The editing was done by Christian Wagner. Also, those 3 writers, putting their heads together and making this pile of shit. edited by Christian Wagner, who we also talked about during our Face Off episode. But just to recap, he also edited Bad Boys, Mission Impossible 2, the worst Mission Impossible by leaps and bounds.
But what are you talking about, dude? When they go head to head on the motorcycles and fly into the air and kiss each other midair,
spin and
they spin for 1,000 minutes.
Oh, John Woo, dude. And then he's worked on a ton of Tony Scott, may he rest in peace, films, including Days of Thunder, The Last Boy Scout, True Romance, and then he also is responsible for editing Fast and Furious 5 through 8.
Yeah. I know I like this guy.
Whatever the fuck all those movies are called. Like
Fate of the Furious.
Stupid pun every fucking movie.
Fast 7. Well, it didn't get punny until Fate, which is Fast 8. Fate of the Furious.
Just call it Fast and Furious 5, Fast and Furious 6, Fast and Furious 7, like everybody else does, you bastards. You never know what any of those movies are.
But you don't understand, dude.
Fate of the Furious.
The fate of the family was at stake.
Fuck off. And then music by our old pal, Mark Isham, who we previously talked about on both Bad Lieutenant and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is his last Cage collaboration so far, at least, that we've yet to talk about because we already talked about those other two. Dude has scored over 200 films at this point and has won 9 Grammys outside of his film work. I didn't know that he did like kind of like new age, like synth music. But I just found out that he's a Scientologist, so I'm glad we're done talking about him.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ratings, just what you would expect. This film got a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4.6 out of 10, 129 reviews. Audience score is a baffling 53%, though, because everybody's stupid in this country now.
I won't name anybody, but somebody was wanting to watch this film with me because they think it's a good movie.
Who is that?
I won't name names. I'll protect the innocent. God. Let's just say she fell down the stairs last night after telling me that.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Metacritic score is a 42%, which is right. Yeah. Letterboxd gave it a 2.5 out of 5. If Letterboxd is like, nah, then you know you made a piece of shit. This one is shocking, though. IMDb gave it a 6.2 out of 10. How? How is it a 6.2?
People meme joking, meme reviewing Nicolas Cage, maybe?
I love this movie because of that bird meme.
Maybe, yeah.
God.
It's just how can you objectively watch this movie and think, yeah, it was pretty good. And then cinema score got a B-.
That's way too high.
That's the same score that Captain America Civil War. Or not Civil War. Captain America
Brave
4.
New World.
Brave New World is getting.
Yeah, B-.
That's way too high for this movie.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
That shocks me. The ending, yeah, it surprises me that this was reviewed as well as it was because the ending is kind of a middle finger to the whole audience.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
If you want to wonder, if you want to know why I hated Nicolas Cage when you suggested this podcast, it's because this is the kind of movies that he was coming out with while I was a young adult.
Yeah.
So that was my only. I think the best movie I'd seen him in was The Rock.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair, dude. It's, it's the constant debate. Is he a great actor? Is he a bad actor? Is he in good movies? Is he in bad movies? And really, I think it's just a 50-50 split right down the middle. I mean, we'll see how we shake out at the end, but like it really seems like he's either amazing or terrible.
Yeah. It
Or
seems
somewhere
like
in between.
Yeah. It seems like he has to personally connect with the film for him to deliver an incredible performance. This movie, what are you going to connect with? All that. I mean, Julianne Moore is one of my favorite actresses, and she gives one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Oh my God,
but there's nothing for her to do. I mean, the script is terrible. Even she can't save it.
Yeah. She just gave up.
I feel like for the most part, I think this is a paycheck for
Yeah,
everybody involved.
Yeah, just lean into the shittiness, I guess, at that point. Just lean into it.